like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up, and when it seems the wonder slipped away, we find it once again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying, hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste, there's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Now trains move quickly to their journey's end, to destinations. That's where we begin again. Ships go sailing far across the sea. They're trusting starlight to get where they need to be. It's time for moving forward on our way. We find ourselves again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying, hear that melody that's playing. There's no time to waste, there's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Believe in what your heart is saying, hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste, there's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. You have everything you need if you just believe.
Well, good evening. I want to welcome you here this evening to this Christmas in June live stream. And I want to thank Reverend Hannah Fitch, who just shared music with us tonight. She is the missional pastor here at Cypress Creek Christian Church, working with millennials, coming alongside them, but she also has this amazing voice. Well, my name is Bruce Frogge, and I serve as the senior minister here at Cypress Creek Christian Church, and actually this week will be 8 years since my arrival, and let me just tell you, it's been a ride. There have been a few bumps along the way, but you know, when you're traveling with folks that you love and people who are willing to share back that love, it makes it a whole lot easier. 2 years ago, in 10 months, if I had been in this space, water would be just above my knees, even here on the stage. Well, a few days after the water began to disappear from this space, a group of us got in a boat with a big pump because we knew that the water would drain out from most of the buildings with one exception. There was this space at the base of the stage, we had here a very large indoor lake, and we needed to find a way of getting it out of here. Well, I showed up along with a whole lot of other folks, and I'm standing here on the stage, which was all busted up, and I'm looking out at people that I knew and a lot of people that I didn't know, and they were all working. They'd all found a task, and I thought, well, maybe it's just good leadership, but I didn't know what to do. And then I found my job. As the water was being pumped out of this space, I realized that we had fish. A whole lot of fish here in the Centrum. And, well, we really didn't want them getting sucked through the pump. And a few of them were small, but had we wanted to have a fish fry, we probably could have served a lot of folks. But on that day, it was going to be catch and release. And so I took a couple of buckets into the water, and my task was to catch fish, carry them out those doors, and only about 40, 50 feet down the road was the edge of the creek in that moment. And I dumped them and came back. I thought that there was probably a metaphor for ministry, something about not casting a net, but a bucket. But the other part that I, really kind of wrestled with, that's not in my job description. But as I looked around and saw all these people, many of them that I didn't know, the things they were doing, I'm pretty certain they were not in their job descriptions either. And yet they were here. They were giving of themselves because they believed in this space. Well, that was 2 years ago and 10 months. A lot's happened since then, and yet we've gotten to this moment. And I have with me tonight some of the people who were a part of that, and people who represent a whole host of other folks who were a part of the initial work of cleaning out this space and making it ready and showing up weeks later, months later, to help move one piece of furniture or this or that. And for those who couldn't work, they were putting pencil to paper and helping in other ways. Well, tonight I have with, I'm going to share everybody's name and then invite each of them to come up individually and share a few words. I have with me Diane Linton. She's a member of Cypress Creek Christian Church, and she is the one giving leadership to this this Christmas in June event. And let me just tell you, she has energy like few other folks, and she has helped to bring this event and everything around it to fruition. We also have with us tonight Commissioner Cagle. He is not only a friend of this church and of the community center, but of many in Northwest Houston. And he has been such a supporter through this process, and he literally represents a lot of the folks who just showed up to help. Dr. McGown is with us tonight. She is the superintendent of Klein ISD. She also represents people like, choir directors and orchestra directors and band directors who are longing to get back into this space because it was here that they had concerts and performances, and it was one of the most magnificent spaces for music. Mr. Nolan Bedford is here tonight. He is the chair of the FACE board. FACE is that wonderful organization here in Northwest Houston that brings concerts and entertainment to this area. And this was their performance hall. And I know that they are longing to get back here. We have tonight Judge Goodwin, and he literally is a neighbor just across the street at the courthouse. But he's one of those people that was often in this space, whether it was for a badging ceremony or a retirement party for a law enforcement individual, or on a couple of occasions for a memorial service. He's just truly been a friend, and he serves on the community center board. And finally, Reverend Lowery, who is the executive director of the community center. She's also been the lead person in our work with FEMA. And let me just tell you, 2 years and 10 months, actually 2 years and 8 months, before we finally got the official go-ahead from FEMA, and I believe that was 6 different FEMA reps that she had to work with in the process, and with every new FEMA rep, well, there was a whole new learning curve and a lot of phone calls and emails to bring that person up to speed. But she's one of those individuals that never takes the time to beat her head against the wall. She just keeps on going, and that's a real gift to us. Talk about the right person with the right gifts at the right time in the right place. I've said, only somewhat joking, had I been in charge, nothing would have gotten done and somebody would be in jail. So I am so thankful that Norma is here with us. At this point, I would like to invite Diane Linton to begin sharing.
Good evening. I am so excited to be standing in the Centrum once again. This beautiful building has been the home of gatherings for family and friends for almost 50 years. Larry and I were married in the Centrum, as were so many other happy couples in our community. Church and holiday concerts, Cypress Creek Face performances, Pearl Museum and Barbara Bush Library events, Klein ISD performances and educational experiences, and more than 120 other community organizations have filled this space. Its absence for the past 3 years has left a void in our hearts and a challenge for those who have used it on a regular basis. We are so elated with the opportunity to reopen it by Christmas, but it will take teamwork from all of us to make it happen. Currently, there is a $500,000 gap between the funds we have on hand, the funds FEMA has obligated, and the total construction cost of $2.7 million. Now, when you compare what we need, just $500,000, to what we have, almost the 2.7, we have $2.2 million, you realize just how achievable this goal is. More good news is that over the past short 4 weeks, we have already received commitments for over $72,000, for which we are so grateful. So what that means is that now we just have a little over $400,000 to get to our goal. I know we can make that. Please consider making a donation to help bring the Centrum back to life. Any size donation helps and is greatly appreciated. The flyer that you received at the Christmas in June event today lists many sponsorship opportunities, all of which include recognition on the donor wall. We invite you to join the Centrum Revitalization team by adding your name to the growing list of donors. You can donate online or by mail. All the information is on the flyer. And if you didn't get a flyer, that's okay. It's also on our website, centrumrevitalization.org. The Christmas in June car parade today was so fun and so wonderful, and we thank everyone who participated. We lined up in the Lowe's parking lot, and I want you to know we packed the Lowe's parking lot completely. It was amazing. So let's all join together in the mission to be back in the Centrum by Christmas Day. We need you to be part of the Centrum Revitalization team. Thank you so much.
A couple of us are slightly taller than a few of the others, so I'm going to indulge in lifting the microphone. I'm Jack Cagle, and I have the privilege of serving Precinct 4, of which this is a beautiful jewel in Precinct 4. And the Centrum is about the arts. And if I could just take that word arts and share with us for a moment of what that means in our community. First of all, this Centrum, as part of the arts, is available to the community. For many years, if you wanted to see the arts, you had to travel great distances and go to faraway parts of the county in order to be able to indulge in this beautiful thing, which are the arts that have the capacity to change lives. And by having this Centrum available, we can impact our community. Secondly, although this is a building, and we think of it as being a stationary place, it reaches out into the community. We are involved with the Klein School District and our children in our community. We're community. But then we come to the S on the arts, and that is, it needs support. We are so close to that goal that I implore you, support the Centrum. Support bringing this beautiful facility back to where it can make that impact of being available, of reaching out to the community, of transforming lives. And all we need is your support. It's a privilege and a blessing to be with you tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I hope that you are healthy and well. My name is Jenny McGown, and I'm so thankful to serve as the Superintendent of Schools in the Klein ISD. I am so happy to be here in the beautiful Centrum, which we all know is just a cultural hub in the Klein ISD community. For so many years, there have been the absolute most beautiful performances and artists who have been brought right here into our very own backyards to be able to see things at the caliber or even beyond of what we would probably have to travel all the way downtown to Houston through the traffic to see. But because of the generosity and the support of so many wonderful people in the Klein community for so many years, this place has been such a blessing to both the young and the old. I'm here this evening to talk about what an incredible place the Centrum is for all of the students, all of the educators, and frankly, the community right here in Klein ISD. Not only has the Centrum provided Klein ISD with the ability to bring in all of those top-notch performers and artists, but the Centrum has proven to be an integral part of our Klein ISD tradition of excellence in the fine arts program. As many of you may know, Klein ISD has been named Best Communities for Music Education by the NAM Foundation for 10 consecutive years. We've been named a District of Distinction by the Texas Art Educators Association, and our outstanding musical theater programs at all 5 high schools and our intermediates, and all the way down where we raise up young artists in our elementary schools, we continue to rack up Tommy Toombs Awards over and over again. The Centrum is such an important part of this tradition of excellence in the Klein ISD by providing a performance home away from our campus auditoriums and cafeteria stages, allowing our student musician and artists and all of their families a beautiful place to shine and enjoy the joy of the arts. Beyond that performance home, we've been so blessed over the years to have the Houston Grand Opera perform in the Centrum each year for our 3rd grade students during Klein Art Days in partnership with the beautiful Pearl Museum. I recall when I was an elementary principal, being able to bring 8-year-old students over to such a beautiful place to have access to the arts is something that has inspired so many youngsters to really pursue the arts all the way through high school, into college, and then some of them as full-time careers. It has proven this beautiful Centrum a home for countless Klein ISD concerts, including holiday performances, UIL contests, student chamber recitals, and Masterworks concerts that feature the combined forces of our incredible high school band, choir, and orchestra students. We are simply so blessed that we have an incredible community partnership with the Centrum here in the Klein ISD for the benefit of all of our students and our families. And so I ask you, please help us to restore this cultural gem to its former glory, and let us get our students and all of our talented artists and performers back here by Christmas 2020. Thank you.
Well, I cannot tell you how exciting this is for Face to know that the Centrum will reopen somewhere around Christmas. We are eagerly waiting to come back to our home. It's so exciting to come here tonight and see all of this. It's just great. As most of you may know, Cypress Creek Foundation for the Arts and Community Development, that's FACE, is an organization that has provided musical performances and cultural experiences to this community for over 20 years, ranging from classical, contemporary, large to small ensembles, solo performers, and multicultural attractions. Let me tell you just a little bit about what we do, because it's pretty extensive. We provide something we call our Starlet Series, and that's our evening productions. The Starlet Series features usually 5, 6, maybe 7 national and international artists throughout the season. Past performers have included Canadian Brass, Houston Symphony, and this year we're going to offer the Texas Tenors as one of this year's season's performances. We also have something we call the Promenade Series. And I'm proud of this particular series too because it features local and regional artists where we monthly provide daytime performances for many seniors who otherwise would have no opportunity for musical entertainment. It really is wonderful to come to those and watch the people that participate. Then of course we have something for what we call our children's concerts. We provide free children's concerts and musical entertainment for many of the underprivileged children in the community. And finally, we have something called a residency program. And this is an interesting program because I didn't really understand it when I first became involved. When we have these wonderful performers come in some cases world-class performers, and they get a chance to work for 2 or 3 days with students from our various schools, teaching them how to become and improve becoming musicians. And I know as the youngsters and the students that are here, it's pretty wonderful to work with somebody that's famous in their own industry. Also, our supporting arm, the Centrum Arts League, we award scholarships every year to deserving students that are majoring in music. In the fall of 1997, as you may know, was the beginning of a great relationship between Cypress Creek Christian Church, Centrum, and Cypress Creek Face. The Centrum opened in the fall, and Face launched its first grand opening of the Starlet Series in November of 1997 with Marvin Hamlish on the Centrum stage, right here on the Centrum stage. What an exciting time for this community to have a venue to provide musical performances without having to travel to downtown Houston or some far corner of our area. Many, many wonderful performances have been held here, and many memories have been made here. And that's how I got started with all of this, because I happened to see an advertisement. I came in, bought some tickets, and I've been involved ever since because I love the work of the Centrum. The Centrum and Face have been synonymous up until the arrival of Harvey. And after Harvey was here, we had no venue. So I'm forever thankful to Klein High School for allowing us to put many of our performances on in their beautiful, wonderful new auditorium. I'm so thankful that they helped us with this. We're so appreciative because we were without a home, and Klein stepped up and helped us at a very difficult time. We love the Klein School, but it just isn't home. So we will really be glad when we can come home to the Center. I believe our patrons will be as excited as I am today, and I am very excited about this. I feel like that once the patrons get knowledge of this, that they will come back, I hope, in droves. Now, if we could just get rid of this darn virus, everything would be okay. Thank you all very much. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, good evening. What a wonderful parade we had today. And a Christmas parade in June should be something we do more often. And it means that I don't have to wear a suit, which is also great, so thank you. Pastor, you know this better than I do, but Scripture is full of references to being a good neighbor, right? And I can't think of an honor that I have more than getting to be your neighbor here at the Centrum Church. Judge Lincoln, I'm a justice of peace here for Precinct 4, Place 1, and where I work is 100 yards exactly that way at the courthouse here on Cypress Wood. My directions are being corrected, but I see the library that way, so I know that the court is that way. It's not? Okay, well, however, but let me tell you this, is that when I drive into my office each day, I see the church, and I'm reassured. I'm reassured about my mission to serve you as a judge to serve justice honestly and fairly. I'm reminded of where our true justice comes from. And it sets my compass at north before I start my day. And there's also something very reassuring when I hear my staff on the phone with somebody that's looking for directions to the court. They say, we're right next to the church. I love it when my staff, public employees, get to say, we're next to the church. That's how you'll find us. And on more than one occasion too, maybe after somebody gets a result in the court that they don't like, and I've seen a couple where they've left the building and the first thing that they see when they exit the doors is they see this church. And it's my prayer that this building, what it is, what it represents here in our community, gives them hope. And hope is a commodity that sometimes we feel is a little bit short today. But I really feel that this building, the Centrum, the church, does give people hope. It's an anchor. It's an anchor in our community. And in a short little area here on Cypress Wood, in maybe 1/8 of a mile, we have a few anchors here in our community. You have the courthouse, an anchor of justice. You have the library, an anchor of knowledge and learning. You have the Pearl, an anchor of expression of visual arts. And then here at the Centrum, we have the anchor of celebrating life through the performing arts. All of these anchors, so important to the community, because an anchor, as you know, will keep the ship in place. And that's what these anchors do. They keep our community in place. So when the floodwaters came and there were literally fish in here, we're still anchored. The anchors are still here, and they will still be here. And so I encourage you, support this anchor here at the Centrum. It's so important to what we're doing and in maintaining hope and encouragement and stability for our community. Thank you.
I have to say thank you for being here. This is awesome. This is just awesome. We've had a fabulous day today. There's so much to say about this building, but there's also a lot to say about the church and its mission to open its doors to the community. And so they form the community center. And we are carrying out the mission of the church to have our doors open. And we are working as hard as we can to have this last building and its doors open. So hopefully, with your help, we'll be open by Christmas. Thank you again, and please contact us if you'd like to make a donation.
Again, I want to thank each one of these individuals who has come, who has shared, who has expressed their excitement about making this happen. If by chance, and I believe we can, if we can reopen the Centrum by Christmas, if my math is correct, from the day Harvey arrived to that day will be exactly 40 months. Well, 40 is kind of an important number in Scripture. It is usually the completion of one thing and the entrance into something else. Often something that maybe no one imagined before the 40s started. Well, I think we can kind of imagine what it might be like. But I truly believe that there is something new beyond that 40. And I hope that you will consider being a part of it. I would end by saying God bless, but I tell you, in the midst of everything right now, I already feel blessed. And so I want to give thanks to God I want to give thanks for each of these individuals, and I want to say thank you to you as well. Good night.
Okay, we're clear.